Hang on. All righty. So we are live with Claudette Anderson. I am so honored and grateful you're here, Claudette. This
Yeah.
is, yes, yes, because we are soul sisters. I'm so grateful for having been connected with you through a mastermind over a year ago.
Thanks
Claudette
to
is
Michelle Thoreau. Shout out to Michelle Thoreau.
absolutely. Shout out to Michelle Sorrow.
Yeah.
Amazing mastermind. Hey, Nora's here already. Hey, Nora. Shout out to Michelle Sorrow who brought us together. She is an incredible soul who has an incredible mastermind. I think she's starting a new round right now called
Yeah.
Momentum.
Yeah.
And we met through there. And what I so resonated with Claudette is like she was already, so I'm always striving to be surrounding myself by people who have gone before me in learning and growing. And you've been in the world of Tony Robbins a bit longer than me. You've been doing the work. You're a truth facilitator. You're an entrepreneur. You're a superwoman who lives in her
Oh,
superpowers,
wow.
as far as I'm
Wow.
concerned. Well, I believe that. I'm actually going to share this into my group called Stepping Into Your Superpowers, and then we can share it into yours as well. Um, I'm going to do that right now. Okay, sorry, I looked away for a second there, but
No,
I
you're
can't.
fine.
Technology is not my strongest point to figure out how to go in here to put it in the group. So, in any event, um, you are an amazing coach. You have this truth method, which was, I believe, and you can talk more about that, given to you by source, and gave you all the insight that you needed just right within your own soul. And so, and now you've been able to bring that into the world. So I'm going to let you tell us more about that instead of me trying to explain, because it's comes much better from the source, which is you.
Well, I believe in a superpower, but I believe it's truth.
Yes,
So, and
I
it's
love
but
that.
for the grace, am I even walking in the truth I'm walking in today? So,
Well,
yeah. So
tell me about that.
yeah, I tell people that all the time because I was a freaking hot mess. So and I was looking for peace. I was
Mm.
looking for, I wanted my soul to be calm. Those voices in your head. They're just like all the time, and we start seeking. How can we get truth? Like I didn't even know to ask for truth right away, but we start going, what can I do? And I read a Wayne Dyer book. That was like my first thing, and I was like, oh, the power of manifestation. Okay, things started opening me up. Um, I read a lot of ancient scriptures. I read ancient manuscripts. I've studied multiple religions. And the thing that I found was the truth sets us free. And so
Mm.
then I went, what is real freedom? What really is freedom? And to me, freedom is when your soul is at peace.
Yeah.
Okay. Freedom is when your soul is at peace and your mind is quiet.
Mm.
And and then I was like, well, how do I get my mind quiet? My mind, I joke about this. It's a Chihuahua named Chi Chi. Okay. And it humps my leg. It like licks my ankles. It just, it just won't shut up. But what's happened is, yeah. So, and nothing against Chihuahuas. I rescued one from a 6-lane highway. Nothing against Chihuahuas, but they are nervous. They're a little nervous. They're a little shaky. And the mind it's like every little thing. And I was like, well, I've read to where we can have a peace that passes all understanding.
Yes.
To me, that's a superpower. So, yeah. So, can we stand regardless of who's saying what, regardless of what's happening in our presence, regardless of everything? And can we actually face the reality of ourselves? So, can we really face what's happening in that moment and then ask for that truth, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the thing that happened with me. I was healed from stage 4 cancer. That was 94, 95, using the truth method, and then moved forward. I didn't even know it was the truth method at the time. It was the Saturday Night Live version. And then you kind of, it was so bad. But then you move forward, and I had a lady, and she goes, there's a different way to go deeper. And she taught me a way. And then she fired me. Have you ever been fired from someone that's healing you? I was like, what the heck? And she goes, Claudette, you're too traumatized for me. And I was like, I felt splintered. I felt just like I was in multiple pieces and I needed to be put back together. And that's when I had been connecting at that deeper level. I'd been practicing connecting to the truth. That's all I'd been doing. And then I started noticing, by just turning my attention in that direction, the truth started speaking to me more, like, that inner voice, that inner knowing. See, people go, is this for me? This won't work on me. And I go, do you have intuition? Do you have intuition? Do you have that gut feeling? If you can say yes to that, then it will work on you, because it already has. So this is bringing that intuition and that gut feeling into a conscious level with the eternal truth to set your soul free. And I tell people there's nothing that can happen on earth that we can't be healed from. And when I say healed, the pain is gone, the trauma's gone, it's gone. But only the eternal truth can do it. Like, it's not me. If you were counting on me, you're really screwed. I'm sorry to say. But I humbly serve and share with people how to do this until they can do it themselves, because I think it's our birthright. And so I begin to access the truth. I begin to get the truth, and I was like, oh my God, I'm actually feeling free. I'm actually, like, my chihuahua is on a pillow. It's a green velvet pillow with some fringe around it in the corner. And shut up. She's not speaking. Occasionally she'll come back and say something, but I've learned that our brain is a beautiful computer. It's a beautiful computerized system, and it just tells us what's encoded into our soul. I've also discovered, after working with over 4,500 people, that emotions can start to rise, right? Thoughts start to rise, emotions start to rise. But as soon as we get truth about what we believe that allows that emotion or allows that thought, the emotion and thought line up with the new belief. It's automatic. So from that, I was like, oh my God, it's like emotions are energetic translations of what we believe. Okay? So it all goes back to the foundation of, what do you believe? And I tell people, begin to seek the truth as if your life depends on it, because it freaking does. Because you create what you believe, your whole world, everything around you. And we also have beliefs that this happened to me, therefore this is part of my identity. Our identity, do you want me to go a little deeper here? Let's get deeper.
Yeah, I would love it, because this is what I think people need to hear. Can you hear me okay? I feel like there's an echo.
I can hear you. Yeah, okay, I don't hear it.
It's only about, we want to hear you, because I want to hear about going deeper. I want people to be able to reflect on that going deeper, because it's the truth within our souls that we need to learn how to access. So
yeah. So, Tony Robbins says everything you need is within you. But how the freaking crap do you get to that, right? Like, what? How do you access that? So there's a truth and there's an eternal truth. So a truth would be, if I believe something, I believe it to be true in that moment. I could change my beliefs about it, right? And then once I change my beliefs, now there's another truth. The eternal truth is a truth that transcends every universe, all time. And when your soul hears it, you automatically feel lighter, you feel freer. It rings true. Have you ever heard a truth that just penetrates your being and you're like, now that's true?
Oh yeah,
that's true. Yeah. That's when you can recognize what is eternally true. And so that's what we're interested in accessing. And it's not even about what do I believe, it's about what is the eternal truth. And as that rises in your soul, as you ask, it's ask and receive, knock and the door is open, seek and ye shall find, right? That all of that, it's all true. And so as you start to say, what do I believe about this? What is the truth? I'm in pain right now. See, there, you could do this with anything. It takes a little longer if you don't have the full method and practice it, but the truth is available for everybody.
Right.
It doesn't distinguish between one person or another. The purpose and intent of the eternal truth is that we're all free. And we all step into our superpower, because at that point, now you're powerful. Now you can have someone talk about you. You can be rejected. You can be whatever. And it's okay, because you forgive them, because it's most likely their programming. Everybody has some programming. I call it, can I cuss?
Can you what?
Cuss.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
We're good.
I call it the monkey bullshit. It's
Yeah.
all the monkey bullshit. So now we can have some grace. And as someone, even if someone isn't kind to us or nice to us, or they're saying something, we can stand in the knowing of our true identity. We can be getting the truth on what's happening in that moment, have grace, and understand they're just reacting out of their monkey bullshit. Because if we are all in our power, you don't get rejected. If we're all in our power, there's grace and understanding, and we can communicate and work it out. If we're all in our power, there's emotional maturity. We can have conversations and go back and forth. When we're not in our power, we run away. We just quit. We run away. We're afraid.
We react instead of we respond. When we're in peace, we respond.
When we're in peace, I feel like I have a hair.
Grace.
Yes, I had a hair
always,
attack.
Always.
I was like, but when we respond, and so my intent anytime I respond, and if I have conflict with anyone, I will eventually bring it up. Even if it's, the silent conflict, how when you've had a friend and then they kind of disappear and they're not, we've all had this happen, they're not paying attention as much, or they're not, eventually I'm always going to bring it up as guided by truth. Or if we have a conflict with someone, I always put in writing. I always put everything in writing, because I'm like, I want that to stand the test of time. And my intention toward that person is whatever I'm saying, whether it can be received or not, I want them to be better off for having read it. Okay? Like it's all about awakening and growing. It's what it's all about. It's not even about my comfort at this point, because guess what? Our true identity is not even rooted in this world. It's not. We're eternal.
Right. It's in
we're
the soul.
Yeah. So once we remember that, and we start to get truth around what is false about my identity that I believe, what is the truth, we can become solidified in our identity, and then unshakable. That's the superpower, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, unshakable. And it's asking those questions of ourselves, like you said before, like, what is my truth and what do I believe? Right?
Yes.
And about that, whatever the situation, it could be in relationship to something happening with your child, your partner, your business partner, your parent, whatever.
Life.
Anything.
It's any reaction with any other person.
Situation.
It's in anything that takes away peace, love, and power and clarity. Yeah. Because when we actually have our power rooted in our true identity, no one can take it away. No one can take our power. We give it away. We easily let it go. And then we get upset. We only get upset because we sense a loss of power.
Right. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Right. When we get caught in thinking about what that other person thinks, or what somebody might have done to us, or all these circumstances outside of us, they don't matter. They only cause us more pain until we go, what is my truth here? Right?
Yes.
What do I need to see? You go ahead.
No, it's good. I love what you're saying, because And another thing I ask is, let me see their spirit. I want to see them as creation sees them. I want to view them as creation views them. And in that space, I can forgive anything.
Yes.
Because I understand that they most likely acted out of their programming, their monkey bullshit. Okay. And if there was any fear associated with anything, that's monkey bullshit. Right? So fear is an energy that isn't from creation. It's from this realm.
That's from ego.
It wasn't created. Fear wasn't created by God. That's like bullshit if you think it is. I'm sorry. I just have to. It's an energy that doesn't exist in the realm of truth. You know, so when we have a fear, the thing to say is, what do I believe that allows it?
Right.
Okay. And then what's the truth? Yeah.
Right. And then and that you got to feel it in your heart. What's the truth? Right? It's the monkey bullshit is up here going.
The monkey bullshit. So I believe this is the Chihuahua who is it's the computer reading what's encoded into the soul. See, this is how the truth method came to be, because I realized it's not just about it's not training the mind, because the mind is a computer that's following what's encoded into the soul. And that's what I call the programming. So how do I access my soul? Well, there's a way to do it to where you can just close your eyes, access it. You can even get so good if you practice enough. You can access it with your eyes wide open, driving down the road, in a business meeting. That's when it becomes a superpower, because now you have access to the eternal truth, which is all knowing. And in the eternal truth is always looking out for everyone's best. This isn't just about Claudette. You know, this isn't just, oh my goodness, you know, I'm being protected. No, everyone, the highest good is always being sought after, because the eternal truth cares about everybody. Okay. So then we're receiving that guidance. And we may get guidance, don't go into this business deal, go into this business deal. I probably a few months ago didn't follow guidance on a couple things, and it came up to bite me. I saw that and I went, dang it, I should have followed that guidance, right? So it's like any time we don't, it's always when we regret it. If we follow the guidance, then we're like going, thank goodness I followed the guidance, you know?
Right.
Intuition.
But in those moments and those regrets, though, are the lesson too. It's like, okay, now I'll follow it a little quicker, because now I get where I veered off, right?
Yes.
Where I did follow.
Yeah, and we tend to beat ourselves up for not following it, but I would say stop beating yourself. What do you believe that causes you to beat yourself up? Because you know what? Have a little bit of grace on yourself and others, right? Because if you're not following the guidance, you need to understand the programming. There's something you believe that made you not follow it. It's not that you're not taking responsibility, you're understanding how it works. And so our responsibility is to recognize that and then start to seek the truth on it, so we don't continue to do it. And each time we get truth, it gets easier and easier to follow the guidance.
Right. And then, like you said, you can turn it on at any moment and have that grace. Sorry, that grace. So when I speak on my end, I sound like a little bit of Darth Vader. So I hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm not sure what it is, but anyway, when you find that grace and that you take that moment, and you take that, time to ask yourself the questions, it can bring you to peace instead of keeping you in the vicious cycle of, dwelling on it and questioning, and the self-doubt and the self-loathing and all of those things that disempower us.
Beating the crap out of ourselves. So there's something that I created called the power of the pause. Someone else, people have talked about pausing before. I'm not surprised when the truth tells somebody something, it's probably told to multiple people. But the power of the ever having to make a rash decision unless a house is on fire, unless our life is at risk, okay? And then I don't want you to make a rash decision. I would love for you to, if we're in danger, let's not step into fear. Let's step into truth so we know what the freak to do about it, okay? So we don't freeze. But most of the time when we get triggered and when we react and all that, and we get so mad and we get so upset, we can avoid a lot of things by pausing. Just pausing and going, what really is happening? And if we instead of just looking at it as, oh, this is how it's making me feel, I look at it this way. If I can get triggered by somebody, they're a gift to me, because you know what? I'm going to seek the truth and get free from that bullshit. Yeah. And then if it happens again, I won't get triggered. So number one, that person just gifted me. Okay. So a trigger, if you know how to seek the truth, is a gift. And so I'm already thanking them. I'm like, oh, you're accusing me of something? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to ask if it's true. If it's true, I'll get truth on it, and I'll step into that. I'll own it. If it's not true and I start to feel whatever, fear of rejection, anything like that, I'm like, I see you little, I'd call them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I see you, and you know what? You're about to get truth in me. My soul is getting ready to get freer, because when I'm free in that situation, that person could do the same thing to me and I would not be moved.
Right.
And that's when that's the superpower, because that's when we become unfuckwithable. And so I'm not defined, I am personally not defined by what someone's opinion is of me, as long as I know I've acted in truth. As long as I know I didn't mistreat them, I acted in truth. And if let's say I did act like a 3-year-old for a minute.
Which can happen because we're human.
Let's say I did. I'm not saying I never will. Okay. But then I can own it. I can apologize for it, and I can grow. So either way, it's a win-win, because I can go, I don't want to be a 3-year-old in this situation anymore. So I acted like one. Own it. Just own it. So, but another thing is, I will, if I have a disagreement or something's going, I will put it in writing. It's an email. I'll send it, because you know what? That stands the test of time. It outweighs everything that is coming from my side. And I invite the other person to respond. I invite the other person, give me your side. Like, let's have an emotionally intelligent conversation.
Yes.
So many people avoid perceived conflict when, if they just pause for a second and they just take a deep breath and step out of the emotional spin, right? Like, it's like all the emotion. Step out of that. And then they go, what is this person really saying? What is this person really doing? So I will attempt to do it. And if at that point the relationship ends, I don't regret it. I've done all I can do. I will get the truth. I will heal my heart, and I will move on, so, but at the same time, I have grace and I understand and forgive, because everyone is coming from the programming, the monkey bullshit, until they have the truth. And it's a continuous journey in our life. And a lot of people have a lot of fears around conflict. They have a lot of fears around things, but be brave enough to lean in there and go, what do you need from me you haven't asked for? Be brave enough to call something for what it is. Call it for what it is, but try to do it graciously. And then many people will accuse you of something. I don't even know why we're getting into this. Maybe someone needs to hear it, but many people will accuse you of something and it's not true. And then all of a sudden we're upset. Stand in the truth of who you know you are. Let that be your identity, not the power of the words. So pause and understand there's something called the table technique. And that's another thing. So the power of the pause is pause long enough to where the emotional spin is gone. Okay? Until we can get truth on what's triggering that spin. Pause. And then secondly, it's called the table technique. And it's where you just envision a table in front of you.
Yeah.
And all the bullshit goes on the table. Don't let it directly into your heart. Just put it on the table, and then you can go, is this true? Is it not? Is this true? Is it not? And the person that's really upset will try to collapse time. The person, like if someone's trying to manipulate you, many times they'll accuse you of manipulating them. These are patterns that I've noticed. It's like you're manipulating, and I'm going, what? Like that wasn't even in my heart. Not that I didn't used to.
Right.
See, when we're in our power and we're in our truth, we don't need to manipulate anymore.
Yeah,
We can
right.
stand in the truth, right? We don't need to control someone. My God, that's so much work.
For sure. And energy. When we can stand out and observe ourselves and them and go, okay, what is the truth here? And then look at all the pieces, like you say, and you have these incredible methods that have now, that I know some of those methods I can quickly look at the pieces, and you can find peace in your heart, and you can go, okay, what is my role here?
Yeah.
And how can I can remember to be unoffendable, and I can not engage with this person, whatever that is. And you can go back and, like you said, like if you want to put it out there and say, here's what my side, I'm sorry this happened, whatever, if that's how you feel it should be played out. And if you want to share your side, please do. And if they don't, that's okay too, as long as you're detached from the outcome, right?
Yes. Yes.
There's
Because
no
my thing is,
expectation.
what caused the misunderstanding to begin with? How can it be cleared up? Many times people are triggered on their own things. I know a few months back, I had a little bit of a fear of rejection left. I got rejected. Imagine that. I manifested what was in me. Oh, shocking. So, so to me, it was the perfect scenario to go through the truth method and get free from the residue of the fear of rejection. Used to be a big thing in my life. Well, and you can relate to this, Gina, you're leveling up, right? You're leveling up. You're getting your message out there. And I was doing the same at the time. And on top of that, remember we've talked about, we both felt like this fear coming over the earth. It was like there was a 3-month period. I felt so much fear. I was a little shaky. And I'm usually not shaky with fear at all because it's an illusion. But I was shaky because I had never felt that much fear. And that was right before the COVID was announced. That was right before we started having this awareness. But it started for me, I think it was late November and went into February. And it was almost like I was getting, more truth on fear, more things. And so it had me just a bit shaky. But the truth I got on that is you're going to be shaky for 3 months. Then you're going to remember. See, this is about the remembering of who we are.
Yes.
This is about it. We're not here to have a spiritual awakening. We're here to have a human awakening. Spirit coming into the human side of things, into the constricted dimension of this world, and how it can manifest within the constriction. And so it's all about remembering who we are. And it's all about remembering that we can have access to the eternal truth, and that we are in the arms of love. And in that there is no such thing as a status. Nobody's better than anybody. Those are all things that cause division. But see, you have to remember who you really are to understand that. And so I had a situation a few months back where I had a fear of rejection and a fear of betrayal, and ding, 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 it happened. And then I was like, as it was happening, I was being accused. I had someone accusing me right in front of me. All I could do is connect to the truth. And then I started seeing love. And I was just like, may the golden light of love and truth enter your heart. That's what I was saying, for your soul to be free. Because in the end, it's not about what this person thinks about me or not. It's about the freedom.
Right. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about love and freedom and peace.
But I will tell you, my interaction with this person later, I was very honest about what I experienced. and what could have been better. It was a business transaction gone bad. And I was just like, honestly, you know, I was being told it was a friendly thing, but yet you're charging me. When you charge me, you need to step up and run your business. Step up and be, own your business. Give me the steps I need to take. What do you need? And I'm not wasting your time if you're telling me what to do. I may waste your time because I'm not familiar with what to do, right? So I actually called that person out on that. So that's because to me, it's like, this is what I discovered. I called him out on it, and then I gave him the steps to form a good business. Because my thing is, if you never talk to me again, but you follow these steps, I got these steps from another person that does the same thing you do at a high level. And so here's your business plan. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, here's a gift.
There's a gift, yes.
It might be received, it might not.
And that's okay.
I don't care. So, but I have nothing but appreciation and love, because I actually got to get truth on that and step into a higher level of who I am and remembering who I am in my power. And I was like, oh, years ago, this would have derailed me. Yeah. But now it doesn't. Oh my God, thank you.
Thank you, right?
Yes. And because, when it's like us, we get the message out there. Some people would be critical of what we say. Some people will agree. Some people want you to be able to be even on video and have a conversation with people. You actually have to have a backbone and know who you are and know what your truth is so you can stand in it regardless, but also be willing to face the reality and not get offended if someone has a thought or an opinion toward what you're doing, right?
Right. Absolutely. That's one of the things I say all the time. And, become unoffendable. That was something I was one of my affirmations for years and years. I am unoffendable. So I would become unoffendable because it was a place that I struggled with in my egoic world for a long time, is like all of the opinions of others, right? So I completely resonate with that. And that was, and that can be something that's a lot of monkey bullshit to get work through. And once you can get to the other side of that, you can feel peace and still go back there once in a while and go, oh, am I taking this personally? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Reminder. And then,
what do I believe? What's
true?
What do I believe? What's the truth? I mean, I ask it for everything. And I've realized anything attached to the identity that is false gets offended.
Yeah.
Anything attached to the identity that is false gets triggered. Because what is false has to have such a defense on it, because it's false and it could easily be destroyed. But what is true can stand. What is true can stand in the midst of anything. And I'm going to tell you, I was in that situation, hearing this, going, wow, I'm a little shocked it's happening. My Chihuahua mind was going, is this really happening?
How can this be happening?
Like, I was like, what did really? But yeah, so assumptions were made. It was happening. I was being accused. It's fine. But I was like, but my soul is still at peace. I'm not triggered in this moment. I was like, and then I went into gratitude, because I was like, oh my God, thank you so much, Spirit of Truth, for all the truth I've gotten to be able to sit and actually let this person say what they need to say. Know that they're going to go back and say more. Know that all this is going to happen. I'll try to clear it up. But you know what? My gut was like, it wouldn't be. I knew what was going to happen, and it hasn't been cleared up. But that email is still there. If it ever is going to be read, it's there. It stands the test of time. And if somebody reads it without offense, they'll know I'm doing nothing but inviting someone to respond and just speaking, hey, this is what I experienced, as customer feedback, for God's sake, right? So it's like, it's always going to be there. So I say, put it in writing. It gives you a chance to think about what you're saying. It gives you a chance to respect the other person as much as possible, regardless in their accusations, right? And don't run. When people run away, it just collapses any potential for a relationship. It collapses. Like if you go through an argument with someone, or you have a disagreement, which we all, run in, we're all going to run into something with somebody. We might say something, it might trigger a false belief within them. The monkey bullshit is everywhere. Okay. It's like stepping through a field with a cow patties everywhere in the dark. You're going to step on it.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to happen. But if you can have that conversation, right? If you can get into what appears to be conflict, which actually doesn't even have to be, that's an illusion. And you can stand in who you really are and not allow the emotional spin, and you don't run away. Well, my goodness, what would that relationship be like then? Such a higher level of respect. It's a higher level of love. It just goes deeper. And I want the deeper stuff. I don't want the shallow relationships. I want the real ones. I want people that if I'm shaky, you've got my back, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And that's, with the letter you might write to them or whatever, with that, you want to make sure that your motive is grace, right? You want to make sure your motive is peace, and that you're taking the accountability of just your side of the street, because we cannot, as soon as we go into like anything that might sound, you read it over and you might say anything that sounds potentially accusatory, then you're getting spun into the, engagement of conflict. So that's the only thing I would say around that, but it brings, and whatever it is.
It's good advice. I mean, I said, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. I take responsibility for this. My responsibility in that whole situation was we were both receiving guidance on things and we ignored it. And there were results from that. But I would say something, he would say something, I would say something, he would say something, and I was like, why didn't we follow it?
Right.
I mean, the signs were there, and I said, I own that because I didn't. I own that. But then here's what, as a business owner, you should own, because he was the professional in that situation, right? And it was something new. I had never done it before. At this point I have, but back then I know all about it now. But then I didn't, and I was like, I kept saying, I don't really know what to do. I kept telling him, and he didn't guide me. So see, that's the problem. It's like, and if the steps are followed with what I suggested, I know he'll have a better shot at success. So even if he never talks to me again, if he actually follows those steps, he'll actually have a better shot. So maybe that's a little bit of a gift. The best thing that was ever gifted to me was a client that fired me. And she sent me an email and she told me everything that I'd done wrong. And I will say half of it was right. Okay. Yeah, half of it was right. And I just read it and I cried my eyes out. And then I read it again and I was so upset. And I sat on it for a couple weeks. And then I was like, and this is before I knew to get the truth. Okay. So I sat on it for a couple weeks, but I remember going, is this true? I just went, I've got to be able to face how I'm showing up in business. And that's when I raised my standard.
Yeah.
And I was like, if she wouldn't have gifted me with this feedback, I would not know, because I was brand new in real estate, right? I had just started and I wouldn't have known. But she gifted me with this and fired me. Okay. But I was able to create a whole customer service system from that and train multiple agents from that in the future. And so I think the best gift anyone can give is direct feedback on what they experienced when they were engaging and interacting with you in business. It's what we should invite. I have a 12-week truth inner circle, and I just put a survey out. And I was telling everybody, be totally honest. Like this, I've got to see this, even if it's not like, you think I might get upset. If I get upset, I need truth. I mean, it's what we're doing, right?
Yes.
So I was like, be totally honest. And, they were like, we need this, more of this up front. Boom, you got it. right?
Right.
So as long as that feedback is so important. And if people know you're generally not offendable,
Right.
they'll feel more comfortable, to be honest with you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. They know you're not going to get hurt. They know that you're going to take it as the feedback that you need to hear, as the truth that you need to hear in order to help not only them more, but the greater good, and that it's all part of the process.
It is. So it's about growing. It's about um, stepping into who we really are, which is part of the eternal truth. We are eternal. We are spirit. We're here having that human experience. Our spirits do not need awakening, but they need remembering.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then we can bring that spiritual awareness into the human experience, and we can seek the truth. And, the truth sets us free. So I don't know of anything else that says that. Do you? Is there anything else that they say sets us free?
No, it is the truth. The truth sets us free.
You know?
Our truth is different. My truth is different than your truth, though. So, and their truth is different than that person's truth.
Well, but here's where I will say this. Okay, I will say this. Everybody has their own individual truth. When I say the truth, I'm talking eternal truth. And you know what's so interesting? Over 4,500 clients, if it's rejection, I've heard over and over and over the truth set them free in the same way. And it rises out of their mouth. Okay? So to me, it's a universal truth. It's like an eternal truth that transcends, and it's the thing that penetrates the soul. So that's the differentiating, that differentiates it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you made that distinction, because that does make sense. At the end of the day, it is an eternal truth for all.
It's for everybody's freedom. Yeah. And I've noticed when people have the individual truth that rises, it doesn't do much for them because they've already said it to themselves a few times. And so the problem persists. And that's why we call the Chihuahua. I call my Chihuahua Chi Chi. I'm like, Chi Chi's talking. So, because
I love that.
our individual truth is based on what we currently believe, which could change by adding more information, right? Like it's
On any day.
that's fluid, and what I believe to be true. But there are certain things like, let's say we believe we're not deserving. So when the eternal truth speaks to the soul at that level, I believe I'm not deserving. What's the truth? The truth that I got on that is you were born deserving. Not deserving, it doesn't even exist in origin. It doesn't even exist from where you come. You're just believing it here, therefore it has power over you. So when we get the truth about that, then we can say, write that truth upon my heart, that not deserving doesn't exist from where I come from. It's all an illusion, and I am deserving. We all are. We're deserving of our freedom. We're deserving of the truth. We're deserving of spiritual protection. We're deserving of all the goodness. I call it all the goodness.
Yeah.
And when we remember who we are, then we understand we can step into manifesting, because we're manifesting unconsciously anyway. We might as well start to do it consciously.
Absolutely. And that is absolutely a beautiful distinction again, because at the end of the day, in the eternal truth, we are all love. We are all here for sharing our greatness. We're here to experience the divine within each other and ourselves, and share and be living as the divine, right?
Yes.
Through our humanness, and seeing it in others, and being the love that we are in our eternal truth. So thank you for that distinction. And it's important that we all start to experience that if we can, and ask ourselves those empowering questions. And so I know we can go on with this conversation, because
we can go
but
talk about this all day.
yeah, And of course we are 45 minutes later, and we've already, we didn't even get to.
The time flew by so fast.
It goes so fast. And so what I want to say here is, first of all, I have to acknowledge the work that you've put into yourself and your soul. And that's why I resonated so much with you, because when I talked to you, I saw myself in you, right? I related to you in your growth, and it helped to level me up. And so I acknowledge you for finding your truth, for owning your truth, for experiencing the truth in others, and for living your truth and your eternal truth, and sharing it and teaching it. And you do it. You have groups that you teach in. You have a beautiful, an amazing private Facebook groups. I want to be able to share all the ways that people can connect with you, because then they can also understand more how to connect with their own truth through Claudette's teachings. And we didn't even talk about procrastination, which is something that you will go. Please, if you're looking to find a way to understand why you procrastinate and how to shift and change that, Claudette did an amazing live on that in her group. Tell us about your group. Tell us what you're working on now. I'll share all of it in the comments, and that way we can make sure everyone has access to more of their truth through what you have to share.
Thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for being who you are. We can become a spirit seeker.
Yeah.
So seeing and honoring your spirit in the essence of who you are, that's what we long for. We long for that. And when we can connect to the eternal truth, we get that affirmed eternally.
Right.
So we have our needs met eternally, which is a beautiful thing. So, okay. So my private Facebook group is called Let's Get Truth.
Yeah.
And that's also the name of a podcast I just launched, getting ready to put the next episode out there. Awesome. And working on the branding to be cohesive with everything. And then I have a 12-week Truth Inner Circle, which I just finished one, and I am starting another one on the 20th. I have not even announced it publicly. I've got people signing up. And then I have a self-study. If you just want the basics and you want to practice it, I have a 12-week self-study. And that's getting ready to be opened up. I opened it up to a small test group because I wanted to make sure that I was, and they're men, because men will tell you exactly what you need to do to fix something. They're perfect. I was like, it's all men, it's perfect. They're not afraid of hurting your feelings. They're like, this isn't working. Right. So I'm like, good, we cut to the chase, and they're like, we need more practice. Can you do a recording here? And so I'm doing the recording where I actually record an actual truth session that can be played and listened to in the training. So you can actually walk through a truth session for yourself with my voice, taking you through the steps. And that's what they asked for. So I'm getting ready to record that and load that. And that's getting ready to go live also. And that's a 12-week also. And so it's a big accomplishment for anyone to to put together what it takes to put a program together, right? And the whole back end and all that. So I will have to say that's why I did the live on procrastination, because I walked through the steps to stop procrastinating, got the truth I needed, chose for it to be easy and fun, and boom, I've done it. Right. And and so that was what was amazing. Yes.
Right. So you manifested that whatever it is you need to get done was going to be easy and fun, and then it was, instead of.
So you're here. You're living this life. Fucking have some fun. This is fun. I mean, like, why not?
Everything. Right? Absolutely. Everything goes faster when we are having fun, right? So our manifestations come quicker when we're connected to the fun within our heart and our soul. Yes. And what feels good.
Yes.
When we're fighting everything, we're restricting ourselves and limiting.
I used to be exhausted I was just like, why am I so tired all the time? Yeah. Just like,
Yeah.
and now
Okay,
I can
understand.
say, I was tired after creating the course and writing it and everything, but it was such a good tired.
Yeah.
It was like
Powerful tire.
it
Yeah.
was a yeah, I was like, my body now needs rest. I'd been working 15, 18-hour days, 7 days a week, like it was just ongoing. But it's such a good feeling when you chose for it to be fun, you chose for it to be easy. And I will tell you, the last week to 2 weeks of writing the modules and stuff, there was a part of me going, ugh, that the chihuahua kicked in. And then I went, no, adjust my energy to what it needs to be. Adjust my energy to what it needs to be. And I would just stretch, take a deep breath. And before I knew it, my energy was back. It was what it needed to be. And I would get even more done. And it's just a good feeling when we get it done. It's
Right.
such, and I had a nice glass of red Pinot Noir and celebrated.
Yeah, and good. As you should celebrate. We need to celebrate all of our wins, even if that win is just getting through one more hour because you shifted your energy and you got one more hour of work done that you wouldn't have gotten done if you listened to your monkey mind
Right.
instead of standing in your power and shifting.
And then when we're connected to truth, we get guidance. The truth was like, a couple nights, okay, you're done, go to bed. You need to go to bed. And so I was like, boom, bed, done.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just
No
the
guilt.
guidance, just following. Yes. It's
Yeah.
so easy to
It's
follow
just
guidance.
oh, that's beautiful.
You don't have to worry about anything. It's all just handled. We just follow the guidance.
And it's guys, it's within all of us. That's the reality. We might fight it. We might not know it. We might say we don't believe it. We might be on the cusp of believing it, not believing it. It is within all of us.
We all have the intuition. We've
Mm.
all had a gut feeling. This is how it's proven. We've all had it. So I didn't know if it'd work on me. It already has. Can't deny that you've been sitting on the toilet and that guidance came. Come on.
Right? Or something came to you in the night that you were like, ah,
A dream, a
mm.
thought, something you forgot, and it was like boom, and you're like, I would have
Yeah.
forgot that, right? I now go, thank you.
Yes.
Hey, just thank you. Thank you for having my back. Help me to get, tighter. What do I need to write down? Whatever. Just guidance.
Right? And with that procrastination piece, and then we can try to wrap it up because
A
I'm
whole
keep going.
nother, that's a whole nother.
But I mean, like one thing that I worked on in this past year really is that when I have that little moment of insight that of something like, oh, yeah, I do need to call her, text or call as it comes. If you can do it in a moment as you're thinking of something, or
Yes.
write it down as a reminder, because
Make sure you don't forget it. Hmm.
yeah, because if you let it go and let it go, then it just that's procrastination. So when something happens, go for it. When you think I'm gonna, you know, I want to send you something or whatever it is, do it. Just
Yes. I can't tell you how many times in my real estate company I've had the guidance to call a client, and I call them, and boom, before I know it, we have a sale coming in. That just happened this week. Like it just happened. And so I'm like, guidance is everything. We don't have, the universe is stepping forward to say yes to whatever you're trying to manifest, consciously or unconsciously.
mhm,
Let's make it conscious. The
mhm.
unconscious stuff is not always fun. Just saying. Some of it's bullshit. Okay. And then we wonder why we have a chihuahua hoop in our leg and why everything's all whatever. Let's make it conscious and let's design our life, so it's all
Mm,
about that journey of the truth. It really is. I don't know
absolutely.
any other way. If there's another way that someone knows, tell me.
Right? That's it. And just follow those steps. Boom. Those little seeds that are those little, things that are planted in front of us, following those little signs, that
Yes.
intuition, it matters. So unbelievable. I love this conversation. Nancy. Hi, Nancy. Prudy. I love this conversation. I love, everything you're doing in the world. Grateful and honored to be in your circle of influence of, of
I love
friends.
that you're in my circle.
I
Yes.
love it too. It's important for me to surround myself with people who are doing this work. And living their truth and owning their truth. And, as I continue to make sure that that is the best I can do every day. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys look for some. We'll get Claudette's. I posted her website. We'll post her link for your podcast, whatever else you want us to post, your group, and yeah, that's just I'm honored and grateful you're here. So we'll do this again one day.
Yes.
Thanks, guys, for being here. Thanks, Nancy, Prudy. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and keep following your truth, guys. It matters. It matters for you and everyone.
Everything. Yes, it's everything. It's your life. Your life depends on it, and I can't stress that enough. And it's available for all of us. So thank you for what you're doing in the world, Gina. Thank you. Thank you for being you.
Thank you for being you. I love you.
I love you too. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. See ya.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for watching.